God, I want your money, honey. I want your coffee. Hi guys, old bum here, and well, while I sit here and enjoy one of my favourite cold beverages, cheers, I thought I'd also talk about possibly my most favourite hot beverage, and it's something that I'm a self-confessed coffee snob, but there's different types of coffees that you might enjoy, and there's different types of coffees that you might find convenient when you're travelling on the road. And so I just thought I'd go through three here, and so here we go. Let's talk coffee. Well, of course, the first one is instant. Notice how I refer to that as instant, not instant coffee, because to me that isn't coffee. It's powder that may taste similar to coffee, but really I have to be pretty hard up to drink that, and yeah, I don't do it. Some people do. My wife drinks it, a lot of people in my family drink it, but you know, as I said, I'm a self-confessed coffee snob, so instant doesn't do it for me. Some might refer to it as freeze-dried coffee. It's just, yeah, stuff in a jar to me. Anyway, the second one is, of course, there's the coffee bags, and I started out taking these because they were convenient, they were light, and they don't taste too bad. This is a Robert Tim's Italian espresso style, but I do find that you probably need, really, even after steeping, you need at least 2 bags in a cup. I do like my coffee strongish anyway. A lot of people know me, they know that I like my coffee pretty strong, so I need at least 2 bags of those. They aren't too bad, they're convenient, they're like I said, they're lightweight, they pack down easy, and you can survive. Like if I was to go on an overnight trip, or I'm going to be doing some backpacking and hiking trips coming up soon, and that's probably what I'll take overnight. That's probably the only time I'll use them. I used to keep them in a truck when I was driving trucks. They were handy to have a quick cup of coffee, and so that would do on the side of the road when you woke up in the morning, at least until I got you to a roadhouse where you could get a real coffee anyway. So, but my poison of choice is, of course, fresh beans. I love fresh beans, and there's many ways that you can have these on the trail. A lot of people like dripulators, that, you know, you're basically a drip filter. I find them a bit, how can I say, weak and pissy, but that's, you know, I suppose I just don't find that you get enough oomph and flavour out of the coffee from a drip filter. My weapon of choice is, of course, the AeroPress. I love this thing. I am so glad that I bought it. I was looking at certain things. I did look at the drip filters, but having had drip filters before, I decided against it. I was looking at a thing called like a hand presser, or the micro pump type espresso things, but they were quite expensive. But you also only get like basically a shot out of it. So the AeroPress ticked a few boxes for me, simply because it gives you a good cup of coffee. I wouldn't say it's espresso, but it's long black, and that's how I have my coffee. And so the AeroPress to me was very good, and simply because I wasn't just restricted to a shot. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that on the camera there, I'll turn it up. You get 4 cups out of it, or 4 shots, and so yeah, that's pretty much how I have my coffee. a double shots a week coffee for me. And of course there's much contention within the AeroPress world whether you invert or stand up. I invert. I'm an upside downy guy. It's just easy. And basically, if you've never seen an AeroPress before, you put your measures of coffee in there, and basically 20 grams per shot, roughly, which is a heaped dessert spoon or tablespoonish type of size. And then of course you put your water in and stir it, and let it sit for a few seconds, let it steep, and of course you have your lid there or your filter, and you put a coffee filter paper that fits inside that, and of course you screw that on, and then of course that goes up on side your top of your cup, and that gives you a good, reasonably pressurized coffee. It gives you a really good flavour, and I really love it. And of course you just add a little bit of hot water to the end to top the cup up. And so, you know, when I first bought that, I'd spend hours on my coffee machine inside, grinding up coffee to take away. But we all know that beans lose their flavour once they're ground. And of course, being, like I said, a self-confessed and truly adhering coffee snob, I have to, of course, grind fresh on the way. And so I bought myself a little grinder. It takes a little time. And these are things that people go, well, what are you taking them for? These are my luxuries, guys. And when you're bike touring, I've just blogged about luxuries on the on my blog, and you've got to have your little luxuries, and these are my little luxuries that make my trip far more enjoyable, rather than the effort of, you know, taking up a little bit of room and a little bit of weight. Of course, the AeroPress, as you can see, it is bulky, but when you I'll just see if I can get it down. I'll just move them out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And of course, if I get my hand off the top, it might not the pressure. The seal's a bit dry, so. And of course, oh, look at that. And of course, the seal's popped out the end, and that just sits in like that. And so, of course, it does pack down reasonably well. It's not too big. And I usually keep them and my coffee beans. No, of course not that bag. I take, you know, a Ziploc bag with some coffee beans in it. And that's my new brew, by the way, guys. If you want to get a look at that, it's a beautiful little Hawkesbury blend from Green Bean Coffee. And no, they're not sponsors of mine. I just like good coffee. And so, yeah, so you can see that it packs down. And what I do is I have, because I usually have a trunk bag over my rear panniers, and of course one of my rear panniers is basically all my kits and stuff. What I do the morning that I'm leaving, when I'm packing up, the coffee, the grinder and the AeroPress, and of course my a little gas stove, my little one-peak, Coleman one-peak gas stove, usually sits in one of my front panniers. And of course that way, if I want to stop and have a coffee along the way, or a few snacks or whatever, which, you know, a few snacks are usually in my handlebar bag, I can just stop, rip them out without having to move too much stuff, and they just go straight back in, and bob's your knob, and that's pretty good. So they're my choices, but they're the choices of coffee that you have. And of course, like I said, with the ground coffee, you have your hand pressos, you have your drip filters. That's what works for me. And of course, a lot of other people like the drip filters because they fold down flat, and they do take up a lot less room than what the AeroPress does. Again, coffee bags, but probably choice number 2, and instant. We'll just put that out there because that's not really a choice for me. Might be for you, but I won't hold that against you. All right, guys, we're talking coffee while I have a beer. Hope you enjoyed that, and cheers, guys.